Today, we're going to look at investing through a totally different lens. We're going beyond the typical numbers on a spreadsheet to see what really makes a company resilient in today's world. And we'll use the Baroda BNP Paribas ESG fund as our guide to figure it all out.
I mean, think about it. We're living in a time where a company's biggest threats aren't always in its financial reports. We're talking about things like extreme weather messing up supply chains or social issues affecting a company's workforce. These are massive forces that are changing the game, creating new risks, but also some pretty incredible opportunities for companies who are ready for it.
So, this leads to a really important question for any of us who invest. When you look at a company's latest earnings report, are you really getting the full story about where it's headed? Or are there some invisible risks lurking just below the surface? That's exactly where we're going to start. Let's dive into some of those hidden risks that a traditional investment approach might just miss completely. And look, these aren't just abstract ideas. They hit a company's bottom line hard. A sudden climate event can shut down a supply chain for weeks. New environmental regulations could completely change how a business operates. And a scandal that damages a brand's reputation, well, that can have a huge, long-lasting impact on a company's stability and its ability to grow. So, if those are the risks, how in the world do you find the companies that are actually prepared to handle them? Well, this is where a much smarter, more strategic way of investing comes in, and it's called the best-in-class strategy. To put it simply, this isn't about just avoiding bad industries, not at all. It's about looking inside every industry and finding the companies that are leading the pack when it comes to environmental, social, and governance issues, ESG. It's really all about picking the winners in every single field. And this slide really nails the difference. See, a basic ESG approach just cuts out entire sectors. But this best-in-class strategy, it's way more sophisticated. It understands that in any industry, you have leaders and you have laggards. The goal here is to find those companies that are setting the standard for the future, no matter what business they're in. So, how do they actually find these top-tier companies? Let's pull back the curtain on the fund selection process. It's basically a funnel that takes thousands of stocks and whittles them down to a really focused, high-quality portfolio. Check this out. It all begins with the entire market. We're talking over 5,000 stocks. Right away, an initial screening cuts that down to about 500. Then comes the really critical step, the ESG screening. Only the companies that score in the top half of their industry, the best in class, get through. That leaves about 200. But, and this is important, the work doesn't stop there. And this is the part that's so crucial. After they've found the sustainable leaders, they apply a second filter, old-school financial analysis. They're looking for strong financials, great management, and real potential for growth. It's this 1-2 punch that combines ESG principles with solid financial thinking to find companies that are truly built to last. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but I know what you're thinking. It brings us to the number one question on every investor's mind. What about performance? What about the returns? Can you actually invest this way and still do well financially? This is the big myth we've got to tackle, right? There's this idea out there that if you invest with your values, you're basically signing up for lower returns. But is that actually true? Well, the data tells a pretty fascinating story. The Nifty 100 ESG Index, which is the benchmark for this type of fund, has actually beaten its parent index, the Nifty 100, in 7 out of the last 10 years. So this isn't about giving up returns. In fact, the data suggests it's a strategy that has been incredibly competitive by focusing on these resilient, well-run companies. So let's just quickly sum up why this all matters for you. 1, it helps you find companies that are actually ready for the future, built for long-term stability. 2, it lets you put your money where your values are. And 3, it aims to find that perfect sweet spot between getting competitive returns and investing in a responsible way. All right, now that we've covered the what, the why, and the how, there's just one last question. Who is this kind of fund really for? Well, this fund is really built for a specific kind of person. It's for someone who wants to invest in the broader market, but through that ESG lens. It's for someone who believes that how a company makes its money is just as important as how much it makes. And crucially, it's for someone who's in it for the long haul. And that long-term mindset is absolutely key here. The benefits of owning these kinds of sustainable, well-managed companies, well, they often take years to play out, not months. That's why the recommended timeframe for this fund is more than 3 years. It's a strategy that really rewards patience. And for anyone who loves the details, here are the key facts all in one spot. It's a thematic fund. Its benchmark is that Nifty 100 ESG Index we just talked about, and it's run by a dedicated team of fund managers. All the essential info right there for you. So, we'll leave you with this final thought. Investing isn't just about putting money away for yourself. It's also about providing the capital for the companies that are going to build our tomorrow. So the real question isn't just about what returns you'll get. It's about what kind of world you want your money to help create.